Have you ever considered building a wildly successful business while staying completely out of the spotlight? Imagine your products or services just shining, building immense trust, growing like crazy, all without a public figurehead. Well, welcome to what feels like a fascinating new frontier in entrepreneurship, where anonymity isn't a hurdle, but maybe even a profound asset. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Today, we're diving deep into the world of faceless brands. Our mission for this deep dive is really to explore how businesses can truly thrive when a public persona isn't just absent, but is strategically replaced by innovation, automation, and a laser focus on the customer experience. This whole approach can offer incredible freedom, flexibility, and, well, growth.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how the business landscape is quietly, but I think fundamentally shifting. We're sort of moving beyond those days where a charismatic CEO felt like, you know, almost a prerequisite for building a recognizable brand. So this deep dive will guide you through the unique challenge and maybe the immense opportunity of building trust without a face, leveraging powerful automation to scale, crafting distinctive marketing strategies, and ultimately sustaining growth in what's, let's face it, an ever-evolving market. We'll try to show you how you can excel as an anonymous entrepreneur.
Okay, so if there isn't a visible person to be the face, what does become the absolute bedrock, the foundation of a faceless brand? Where do you even begin to build that identity?
Right. And for a faceless brand, these foundational elements, your core values and your mission, they aren't just important. They are utterly crucial. They become the personality. They're the guiding light, the very essence of your brand. Because without a founder's story or face to connect with, customers look to what you stand for. So you need to ask, what principles are non-negotiable? How do you want your customers to feel when they interact with your brand or use your product? Take an eco-friendly cleaning products company, for instance. It might anchor itself deeply in environmental responsibility, maybe ingredient transparency, and genuine concern for customer health. Your mission statement then isn't just some corporate blurb. It's really the DNA of your brand. It needs to be incredibly brief, specific, achievable, and critically clearly articulate a customer benefit, because that's the primary way customers will understand who you are.
So it's not just a statement you put on a website somewhere. It's almost like the brand's constitution, right? Guiding every single decision when there isn't that charismatic leader to articulate the vision. But okay, after all that careful groundwork, how do these brands actually find their audience when there's no visible person out there networking or, shaking hands?
That's an excellent point, and it really highlights a unique challenge. For you, the listener, building a brand without that public persona means you need to be incredibly precise. Precise in identifying your target market and articulating your value proposition. This demands rigorous market research, things like surveys, focus group discussions, deep dives into online analytics. Basically, you need to build detailed buyer personas. These are essentially semi-fictional but data-driven representations of your ideal customers. Once you know them inside out, then your value proposition becomes your most powerful tool. It's what clearly explains how your product solves their specific problems, delivers unique benefits, and stands out. It has to do all the talking.
Okay, and then how do you infuse a faceless brand with character and recognition? How do you build a strong, memorable identity when there's no actual face to anchor it to?
Well, your visual identity essentially becomes the brand's entire public personality. It's not just about a pretty logo. It's about crafting a comprehensive visual language, a specific color palette, consistent typography, even the style of photography that communicates your core values. It needs to build that emotional connection a founder's face might typically provide. Think of a brand like MailChimp, maybe. Their quirky illustrations and clear design, they speak volumes without a CEO front and center. You also need a consistent brand voice for all communications, whether it's serious, playful, authoritative, whatever fits. And you tell your brand story, not a founder's personal one. Focus on its origins, its mission, the impact it aims to make. Crucially, your products have to speak for themselves. Through unwavering quality, constant innovation, your website, your social media, they aren't just channels. They become the literal face of your brand. Our sources really highlight that consistency across all these touch points is key to building recognition and, most importantly, trust.
Trust. Yeah, that's the lifeblood of any business, isn't it? But for faceless brands, it just feels like an even bigger hurdle. If I can't see the person behind the curtain, how do I know I can really trust them? How do you cultivate that without a public persona?
Transparency. It isn't just a buzzword here. It's probably your single most powerful tool. Since customers can't see a face, they need other assurances. They need proof you're legitimate and trustworthy. This means being incredibly open, about your sourcing, manufacturing processes, quality control. For instance, with organic skincare products, you detail your ingredient purity, where they come from, maybe certifications. A dedicated About Us page, even without personal details, should tell your brand story, outline your commitment to values and quality. Also, being upfront about your pricing structure. No hidden fees, clear breakdowns. This kind of radical openness is what has to replace that personal connection.
Transparency makes total sense, yeah. It feels essential.
Mhm.
But in a crowded market, how do faceless brands get that external validation? How do they get others to vouch for them when there isn't a charismatic leader to stand behind?
That's where leveraging social proof becomes absolutely critical. Our sources point to I think it's a 2023 Bright Local survey, revealing that 98% of consumers read online reviews for local businesses. That's huge. For a faceless brand, these reviews are your public endorsement. They're your proof of concept. So you need robust systems to actively collect and showcase customer reviews across your site. Feature detailed case studies showing real-world success. And maybe consider partnering with trusted third-party platforms like Trustpilot or FIFO for that extra layer of independent credibility. It's really about letting your happy customers become your unofficial brand ambassadors.
So, in essence, your digital footprint is your face. Okay, what does a truly strong online presence entail for an anonymous brand then?
It means investing significantly in a meticulously designed, user-friendly website, one that loads quickly, provides all necessary information clearly, has intuitive navigation. You need clear calls to action, a comprehensive FAQ section. Beyond the site itself, maintaining active, engaging social media profiles is essential. But the focus shifts, right? Instead of personal updates, you showcase products, share industry insights, highlight your brand's unique attributes. And starting a blog or even a podcast like this one can strategically position your brand as a thought leader. Sharing expert insights, helpful tips, it demonstrates deep expertise. This builds authority and connection, all without revealing who's actually behind the content. Now, this next point, it reveals quite a lot about how these brands operate. Outstanding customer service is described as a secret weapon. How is it so uniquely powerful for a faceless brand? Well, when customers know they can truly rely on prompt, helpful, and importantly, empathetic support, it fosters immense confidence. It almost replaces the need for a personal face in that interaction. So for you, the listener, what does excellent customer service truly look like? For a faceless brand, it often means a multi-channel support system, email, phone, live chat, so customers can reach you easily, how they prefer. It means well-trained staff who are genuinely empowered to resolve issues quickly, not just reading scripts, clear communication about response time expectations, and often going above and beyond. Think maybe a no questions asked return policy, or compensating generously for an inconvenience. These gestures turn potential negatives into powerful long-term loyalty. They create a strong word-of-mouth engine because every single interaction is the brand's face in that moment.
And finally, in this trust point, how do you showcase expertise without that charismatic CEO or recognizable founder publicly leading the charge, giving talks?
You do it through consistently high-quality content that provides genuine value. It's all about the content. You develop a comprehensive content strategy. Things like how-to guides, in-depth industry trend analyses, objective product comparisons. You use various formats, detailed blog posts, engaging videos, informative infographics, maybe one like the environmental impact of fast fashion for a sustainable brand, something tangible, or even interactive tools like a retirement savings calculator for a financial services brand, something useful. And collaborating with industry influencers for co-branded content, that can also lend significant credibility. You're leveraging their established trust to amplify your brand's message. The content itself becomes the expert.
Okay, so we've talked about the internal foundations, building identity, building trust. But after all that groundwork, how do these truly faceless businesses actually operate and scale? Often running smoothly even when the entrepreneur isn't actively hands-on, our sources point to one massive enabler: automation.
Oh, absolutely. The power of automation is truly a game changer here. For consistency, for efficiency, and for the ability to operate 24/7 without needing a constant physical presence. Think about customer service automation first. AI-powered chatbots can handle basic inquiries instantly, right? Freeing up human agents for the more complex stuff. Automated email sequences can send welcome messages, order confirmations, even personalized follow-ups, ensuring consistent communication without fail. A robust, searchable knowledge base answers common questions, again, without any human intervention needed. Then for order processing, modern e-commerce platforms can automatically process orders, update inventory, trigger shipping notifications. Some even use AI now to predict future demand, helping optimize stock levels. And finally, marketing automation lets you deliver highly personalized messages at scale. Segmented email lists, social media schedulers like Hootsuite or Buffer, automated ad management tools. It's like having a dedicated virtual team working around the clock, perfectly executing your brand strategy.
That really covers the operational side, making everything run like a well-oiled machine. It sounds incredibly efficient. But once everything is automated and running smoothly, how do these faceless brands effectively reach new customers and keep growing their audience?
Content marketing becomes, as we touched on, your brand's most powerful, silent spokesperson. You start by deeply understanding your audience's pain points, their needs, their questions. Then you develop a content calendar for consistent, high-quality, valuable content across various forms. Implementing a strong SEO strategy, search engine optimization with diligent keyword research, on-page optimization, earning high-quality backlinks, that is absolutely crucial. Because for a faceless brand, organic traffic, people finding you naturally through search engines like Google, is invaluable. It's how you build visibility without having a face out there promoting things.
Building a sense of community without a visible leader or a personal brand to rally around, that sounds like an immense challenge. How do these brands manage to foster engagement and loyalty on social media, for example?
It's a really interesting aspect, yeah. The key is, first, strategically choosing the right social media platforms. Where does your target audience actually hang out online? Then, you maintain a consistent posting schedule with diverse content, not just sales pitches. Think educational posts, maybe behind-the-scenes glimpses into your operations. Carefully curated, of course, without revealing individuals. User-generated content is huge. Interactive polls. Engagement is absolutely vital. Responding regularly to comments, asking questions, creating opportunities for customer sharing, maybe with a branded hashtag they can use. You can even humanize the brand by sharing stories of team members, emphasizing roles and contributions without necessarily giving identifying details or highlighting the company culture and values in action. It shows there are real people and real values, just not one single public face.
And to truly amplify their message and gain that external validation, what about leveraging other trusted voices in the space?
Right? Influencer marketing can be incredibly effective if done right. It's about leveraging the trust already built by established personalities. You have to look beyond just follower count, though. Look at their engagement rates, audience alignment. Is it your audience? And their genuine authenticity. Then pursue creative partnerships, maybe collaborative product development or creating educational content together with influencers. Email marketing also remains incredibly powerful. It allows direct, personalized communication through segmented lists, automated sequences based on behavior, A/B testing messages, always providing value, not just selling. And of course, digital advertising platforms like Google Ads, Facebook, LinkedIn Ads. They allow for incredibly precise targeting, compelling ad copy, high-quality visuals, and continuous optimization based on performance data. These are all about reaching the right people at the right time with the right message, regardless of who's actually behind the brand itself.
Okay, so it's one thing to successfully build a faceless brand, but how do you sustain that success long term? And how do you adapt to the inevitable, constant changes and disruptions in the market?
Scaling a faceless brand means meticulously focusing on the systems and processes. Those are what need to grow with the business without compromising quality or consistency. Diversification is often key, whether that's expanding your offerings within your existing niche, maybe considering vertical integration like acquiring a key supplier to get more control over quality, or even geographic expansion into new markets. This means documenting everything. All processes need to be clear. Investing in scalable technology solutions is vital. Things like cloud-based ERP systems, enterprise resource planning for integrated business management, and building a strong company culture, even without a visible leader embodying it, through robust training programs and maybe a detailed brand Bible to ensure everyone adheres to the brand's voice and values consistently.
So when there's no singular visionary figure at the helm, what does innovation actually look like for these kinds of brands? How do new ideas emerge and get implemented?
What's fascinating here is how these brands often cultivate innovation collectively, more collaboratively. They actively encourage all team members, regardless of their role, to contribute ideas. They might implement transparent systems for evaluating those ideas, perhaps set up cross-functional innovation teams. Leveraging data becomes absolutely central. Data from customer feedback, sales figures, market trends. This drives the innovation efforts. Using tools like A/B testing extensively and agile development methodologies like creating a minimum viable product or MVP. That's basically a stripped-down version of a new offering to get quick customer feedback. This allows faceless brands to iterate and innovate based on real user needs and data, rather than just a singular leader's gut feeling or vision. This constant data-driven evolution keeps them deeply customer-centric.
And how do they stay ahead of industry trends and remain competitive without a public leader actively scanning the horizon or, giving keynote speeches about the future?
It requires a systematic, almost institutional approach to monitoring the landscape. Regularly conducting competitive analyses looking at both direct competitors and maybe adjacent industries is crucial. Using tools like Google Alerts, subscribing to key industry publications, attending virtual conferences, these become invaluable for staying informed. These brands also need to be open to strategically adopting new technologies, things like AI for personalization, or maybe even blockchain for supply chain transparency could be relevant, but always ensuring alignment with their core values and checking for scalability. And crucially, a strong commitment to sustainability and ethical practices, perhaps backed by certifications like B Corp or Fair Trade, isn't just a trend anymore. It can become a core part of your faceless brand identity and a really key differentiator in today's market.
Finally, what does adaptation truly look like for a faceless brand when the market inevitably throws a curveball, or, heaven forbid, an unforeseen crisis hits? How do you pivot quickly without that visible leader?
It really comes down to proactive planning and built-in flexibility. These brands often engage in regular scenario planning. They imagine various future possibilities, market shifts, supply chain disruptions, whatever, and develop detailed contingency plans for each. They try to design their business models with inherent flexibility from the start. Maybe modular product design that can be easily adapted, subscription models for recurring revenue, or diversifying revenue streams so they aren't overly reliant on one single thing. And critically, they develop robust crisis management plans, clear protocols, pre-approved communication templates, because there's no single charismatic leader who can just step in front of the cameras and reassure everyone. The plan has to do that. Amidst all this potential change, maintaining brand consistency is paramount. This might be achieved through regular brand audits, maybe even having an internal brand council to ensure all new initiatives, even during rapid evolution or crisis, align with those core values and mission we talked about right at the very beginning.
Wow. We've certainly journeyed through the intriguing landscape of faceless brands today, discovering how anonymity can transform from what seems like a challenge into a really powerful strategic asset. You've learned how trust is built through, well, radical transparency and social proof, how operations can become super efficient and scalable with automation, and how a strong online presence and clever, consistent marketing can create a compelling brand identity without a single face attached.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, I think the profound success of these brands lies not in a founder's personal charisma or their individual brand, but really in the unwavering strength of their products, their deeply ingrained core values, and the consistent, often exceptional experiences they deliver to customers time after time. It's fundamentally about building a business that stands entirely on its own merits, one that's resilient and, perhaps most importantly, profoundly adaptable.
So, what does this all mean for you listening in? Maybe consider this. How might strategically shifting your focus, moving away from purely personal branding, and focusing instead on the intrinsic value, the robust systems, and the consistent experience of whatever it is you offer, whether that's a product, a service, or even a personal project, how might that unlock new levels of freedom, maybe innovation, and certainly trust in your own endeavors? Definitely something to ponder as you continue your journey.